And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to 1,000 Mile Coffee. This is going to be part 2 of the questions that were sent in to us.
I'm Jason.
I'm David. Sorry, I forgot to tell you who we were.
All right, Sam. I was going to crack a joke, but I decided not to.
Squirrel!
All right. Well, this is one of the questions that was sent to us is what is the best thing to send with your driver so they know that you're thinking of them and you care about them?
Baked goods. Baked goods, brownies, cake, muffins, something made from home, something other than a packaged item from a truck stop, something sweet, simple is amazing. Just a little homemade sweets are amazing just to remind you that there are people at home that love you.
No, we're not fat at all. We didn't go straight to baked goods before we thought of anything else.
Pot, meat, kettle.
Right.
I better say, you don't complain when I cook.
Not at all. Not just, it ain't got to be just baked goods. Yeah, we get tired of eating out all the time. And some people don't have, we talked about cooking. Some people don't have the George Foreman grills, or they haven't got all that yet. My wife used to, whenever she would cook supper, she would prep meals for me. She would take whatever she cooked and she would dish out my serving as if I was there and freeze it. So then I would just pull it out of the freezer in my truck, because I got a fridge in my truck, and pop it in the microwave. And I had a home cooked meal every night that she fixed for me. Another thing, you brought this up, was if you got somebody who knits or sews, they can make
sews, crochets,
make you a blanket or something. Yeah,
blanket, scarf, bandana, little toboggan. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. Toboggan. Something simple and small like that
I was
is amazing.
Thinking more like a Afghan blanket or something that you can cover up with at night. But okay,
that works too.
So there's all little kinds of things you could do. A picture, a family picture that they could put in their truck with them. Something simple like that. This one, how much does a driver spend on average a week out on the road?
This can vary between driver to driver. This can go into whether you're having to buy your meals every day because you aren't able to cook in a truck, or if you don't cook in a truck, you can spend about $150 a week.
I spent about $100 when I first started driving. I was $100 to $110 a week. That was for my meals, my drinks, because I didn't carry anything in the truck with me. I'll just get it on the road. I don't need to carry anything. I go to the grocery store, spend $50, and I'm good. That's breakfast, lunch, supper, drinks, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
So you can spend a lot of money out on the road because every state is different. Every state taxes are different, especially with your food in the truck stops. You go to Burger King and you buy a Whopper meal. That Whopper meal is going to cost, I don't know the number, so $5 for the meal. In a truck stop, that Whopper meal is going to cost you $7. Everything's more expensive in a truck stop.
And it also doesn't just leave there in fast food. It also goes into the grocery items inside there. I know you've probably seen it at gas stations.
Yeah.
Whereas it gets a little bit more. It's also the same in truck stops because you are what they refer to as a captured audience.
Yeah, but I think I paid like $5 for a roll of paper towels. Yeah. A roll. I mean, and it wasn't even good paper towels.
Exactly. That's the one thing. It's kind of like the same thing as if you're going to a sporting event and you want to get that hot dog, you want to get that chili cheese dog, stuff like that. You're a captured audience. You're going to pay more. And the places know that because we can't just park our trucks in a Harris Teeter parking lot or a Lowe's Foods or something like that. You can't just park the truck in the parking lot.
Right. And now this next question is kind of going to go into the spending on a week or spending in a week. And that says, how has the trucker lifestyle changed due to the COVID pandemic? At first,
it was amazing. Oh my God. I have to admit, at first it was amazing because the simple fact of, I know it's horrible to sound that way.
No traffic.
Because a lot of people were stuck at home out of work, but truck drivers, we were enjoying it.
Yeah, there wasn't hardly any traffic. That's why.
I could go through Charlotte at 5:30 rush hour and not run into any traffic. You could burn through the major cities at your major rush hour times, and there was no traffic on the road.
I remember it was
That was the one positive.
I remember it was like, I don't know, like a month into this whole pandemic, and I had to hit 285 at like 5:45 in the evening, and I never dropped a gear. I mean, but I stayed at speed the whole way.
Exactly. I mean, there was a little bit through that. I went through Chicago, and anyone who's run through Chicago, the traffic around there is horrible.
Yeah.
It was very light traffic, and it was amazing. It's the same thing. It's your major cities, but that was one of the positives.
That was the only positive.
That was the only positive.
No, yeah, that was the only positive.
The negatives were outrageous. You had rest areas that were closed. You had your truck stops all the restaurants and everything that were closed, or they were doing takeout only, stuff like that.
I mean, there was rest areas that was closed. We couldn't even get in to use the bathroom. They shut the buildings up.
Yeah.
You know, it was, we're already secluded enough as it is. And the only human interaction that we get most of the time is
at a restaurant through a waitress, the waiter, or just
going in the driver lounge at the truck stop and sitting around and BSing with the drivers there while a movie's playing or something, you know.
And we couldn't do that because they were pretty much, they had all that closed off, shut down. And they still have some of those places where it's still closed off and shut down.
Yep.
And they're still slowly reopening stuff, but it was just, that was the biggest problem, was that as secluded as we are now, it got worse at the beginning of the pandemic because everything was closed. You were pretty much restricted to the inside of your truck.
We were, yeah, and not just that. I mean, you know, we'd go to shipping receivers. A lot of our receivers, you know, we back up and we do a lot of multi-stop loads. We pull up, get back there, unsecure our load for them, let them unload it, re-secure it, and go down the road. We weren't allowed in the warehouses anymore. So it was back up. They would pull the strap, and then sometimes they'd forget to put the strap in the back of the trailer for us. And then we got to go up there trying to get in to get our strap. It became a headache, I guess is the best way to put it. It changed a lot of things.
And then it goes into the same thing of not being allowed in the warehouse. We weren't allowed to use the bathrooms inside.
Nope.
So you're kind of sitting there like, you got to use the bathroom, but they're not letting you inside.
Yep. Oh, you know what? There's a lot of places like that before the pandemic too.
Yes.
But not as many. So due to the pandemic, there was a lot of things changed for the drivers. That's just some of the stuff that we saw. There's probably a lot more that other people had.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Let's go on. What do you eat, healthy or not? Do you limit your fluid intake? I guess
whatever doesn't eat me first. That's the blunt way to put it. Sometimes, yes, I do eat. I try to eat healthier. I've followed in his footsteps because I used to not eat. I used to not cook in the truck much. I was one of those guys that I had no wife, no kids, anything at home, so I had more money, so I would eat out all the time. But then I realized I was like, I'm eating a lot of processed, the unhealthy stuff, just all the processed foods and everything else. So I started cooking in the truck to basically be a little bit healthier, I guess is the best way to word it. But sometimes you don't have the time to cook anything in the truck, so
and sometimes you just don't feel like it. No different than somebody sitting at home gets off work. I mean, sometimes you just let's just go get something. I don't want to cook tonight.
Let's just grab a pizza and a 2-liter.
I mean, typically for me, this is just for me. Typically, if I can stop for 5 minutes, if I'm not pushed under the gun, I'll make like a ham and cheese sandwich and a little bag of chips. Like I get the variety bags where, you know, you got all different kinds of little bitty bags.
Yeah.
Make me a sandwich in that and go down the road. I've cut out a lot of my sodas and things because I'm trying to lose weight. As y'all can see, I'm not a little bitty guy. I do. Now there are times where it's just stop and grab something grab a hot dog or something off the roller grill at a truck stop because you're in a hurry. You had to stop and get fuel, go inside, use the bathroom. You try to do as much of that at one time as possible. Limiting the fluid intake, very much so. Especially if I'm on a long run and I know I don't have a lot of areas or a lot of places that I can stop. You know, I'll watch how much I'm drinking so I don't have to go to the bathroom as often.
Exactly.
I do a lot of chicken. That George Foreman grill is fantastic for eating healthy. I do a lot of chicken, rice, green beans, corn. They sell, Libby's sells individually packaged. It comes in almost like one of them little fruit cups of green beans, of corn. And then it's just like single serving. And I'll fix me something, pop them in the microwave. They're done. And then that George Foreman, cook the chicken. And that's most time that's what I eat, like for supper and stuff.
Yeah, whereas I was doing burger patties and stuff like that. And then I was also doing, for a while there, I was picking up pork tenderloins. With me being the little culinary self of mine, I would sit there and do butter steak rub in there along with a little bit of garlic powder, onion powder, with about a couple tablespoons of olive oil. Let it thaw the night before, sit there and soak it in that, let it marinate in that all day. And then when I shut down at night, it would just throw it on the grill. Yes, it took a lot longer to clean up because now my grill's covered in all that, but...
And then you got meat. Take meat out, put on. There you go. I don't season nothing. I throw the meat on there and I eat it.
And it just goes back into the culinary and high school side of me.
I got you. Okay, let's see. How do we stay comfortable on long runs or long drives? That one's that's kind of a loaded question.
Yeah, it can vary from driver to driver. I know with me, you just set the cruise, you sit there and kind of move your feet around, stuff like that. And
that means your cruise control would have to work.
Where's he at? Let me point to the boss right now and tell him my cruise control hasn't worked for the longest time, but I've gotten so used to it, it's not funny.
He just flipped us the bird.
Well, I can't see him through you, so hold on. Let me lean back.
Move back.
Okay.
For me personally, I just move around. I move my legs around. I'll readjust in the seat. I'll move my steering wheel and kind of lean and lay forward, or I'll lay back. I'll slide in the seat. I don't ever sit in one position because then you start to hurt.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is you don't want to sit there. You don't want to sit there and always be, I guess, and stay in one position for one long period of time.
Right, because you got to keep your blood moving. You got to keep the blood flowing.
Exactly. I know you've probably seen me in the footage here where I'm sitting there constantly keep moving around, stuff like that. But that's also because I have back problems. So, which I know you do too. But you throw that into
another thing. I'm going to throw this out there. I don't mean to cut you off, Bud, but
Go ahead.
I'm going to throw this out here.
I was probably going to repeat myself anyway. So
you probably was. But one thing I highly recommend: watch your legs. If you see your legs start to swell, or you see that you're getting puffy around your socks, that means you're not having proper blood flow, proper fluid movement. Compression socks are amazing. I wear them all the time, and my legs don't swell anymore. Of course, I was also told I had to, with the cellulitis, to keep the fluid moving. So anyway, that, compression socks, the compression stuff works. They really do.
Yeah.
You got anything else to add on to that one?
Not really on that one. Now, the next question, this one is, you thought the other question was a loaded one. This one is, this is a loaded question that's going to, I'm trying to figure out the nice PG way to say it. Let's just go ahead and hit into this one full force. How has driving affected your sleep pattern?
What sleep?
Oh, shall we count the monster and caffeine? Shall we count the monsters?
It's hard okay. And I believe when this question was sent to us, I believe what the person was getting at is, do you have like a set sleep schedule? Because I know a lot of people, it's, I'm in bed by X time and I'm up by X time,
Yeah.
No.
That doesn't work in the truck.
It does not work at all.
Because, again, it goes into your 11-hour clock and your 14-hour clock of you can start each day and end each day at a different time. Now, this is for OTR drivers. For your day cab drivers, it might be something different.
Or if you're on dedicated runs.
If you're on dedicated run, stuff like that, then normally you would start at a set time and stop at a set time. But your OTR drivers, it's going to be a little bit different. You're not going to have the same sleep time every day.
No, you might get up and the reason we say this is you might pick up a load that doesn't deliver till 11 o'clock the next day, and it's a place that's a big distribution center that's very strict on their appointment times, or a job site that you're going to if you run a flatbed that's very strict on their appointment times. And you end up, instead of taking a 10-hour break and then being able to go when your clock is started, you might take a 16-hour break. So now, you instead of starting at 8 in the morning, you're not starting until 10 or 11, and you still have a full day to work. So now you're shutting down at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. And then also throws into, if you pull reefer, I know I can tell this from experience here, you get the wonderful 1 to 2 a.m. deliveries, and you're sitting there for the next 4 or 5 hours as they slowly pull one pallet at a time off your trailer, what feels like they're pulling it off with a Lego forklift as slow as they move.
Yeah, they definitely don't get in no hurry. So your sleep patterns are going to be difficult. Another one here which deals with sleep is, I don't know how they worded this. We kind of worded it weird, but what they're asking is, what do you do if you have trouble going to sleep?
I fully recommend it as a natural supplement, and it is completely some things you have to watch for when it comes to trucking. I know some guys will just say, "Oh, just take a couple Advil PMs," or "Oh, I just carried NyQuil." You can't carry that inside a semi.
Nope.
Semi trucks, you have to watch what drugs and everything you carry in the truck because we are such a heavily regulated industry. I fully recommend, and everything that I have searched is that says this is completely 100% legal, melatonin. It is a natural sleep aid. I keep them in gummy form in my truck. If you get a night where it's sitting here, you just shut down, but you're still wired up because it's been that long day, you got stuck going through traffic, and every single Grandma Jones you got stuck behind wanted to do 10 under the speed limit, and you're sitting here death grip at the steering wheel, trying not to commit vehicular manslaughter.
Okay, you're rambling again. Come on.
Sorry, but I recommend melatonin. Take 2 gummies, and it's a great way to make you go to sleep.
Right.
But watch when you take them. If you are not going to get at least 7 hours of sleep, I do not recommend them because you will wake up groggy, and actually you might have a hard time waking up in general because you're not getting the full sleep.
Yeah, but see, melatonin don't really work for me. It really don't. I take it, and I can't go to sleep.
Well, I could recommend something else, but then it would be very inappropriate.
So those are some of the things on sleeping. Let's switch pages here. Okay, let's see here. Next one. What is the most unusual thing you've seen while on the road?
Nope. No. 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 If you can think it, we have seen it. Ladies and gentlemen,
we've seen some pretty nasty
stuff. We are
stuff.
higher up. We can see down into your car.
Yep.
We've seen it.
Yeah.
You think you're getting away with it? No, you're not. We've seen it. Please stop.
I've seen some pretty disgusting things. Things that yeah. Unusual stuff. I'd have to say the most unusual thing I saw was here recently. I saw a gentleman in South Carolina riding a motorcycle. Now, in South Carolina has helmet law. Does not have helmet laws. You can wear a helmet on a motorcycle or not. It don't matter. It's up to you. He was wearing no gear whatsoever on a motorcycle by himself, but was wearing a little blue hospital mask.
He was wearing a face mask.
That makes no sense to me whatsoever.
He was in public. He wanted to make sure he was safe. He
Anyway.
might give the fly corona.
That was unusual to me. I saw that and I'm like, really? But yeah, the most unusual thing we've seen on the road, we know.
No.
We could sit here for a long time telling stories. We ain't going to.
Exactly.
But then again, it might be for a good laugh.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. All right. Let's go on to the next one. What do you wish the average driver knew about driving safety while around trucks?
Give us space.
Yeah, I'd say that'd be the biggest thing.
Give us space.
Don't ride
and
beside
be
us.
patient with us.
And don't ride beside us. If you're passing us, pass us. Otherwise, stay behind us. Most people have not seen what happens when a steer tire blows. That truck's going to jerk in that direction. And if you're riding there, we can't control that if that was to happen. If a tire blows or shreds and you're beside the tire, that's 120 PSI that is being released in one instance. It could hurt you. Don't ride beside us. That's my biggest thing.
It actually can hurt you.
I just said that.
Years ago, no, I'm just saying it can. You said it might. It can.
I say could, but either way.
Mythbusters years ago, Discovery Channel. I'm going to show a little bit of my age here.
Nerd.
And damn proud of it, all right? Mythbusters years ago, they did an episode where they shoved a piece of rubber tire through a kind of a homemade dyno set, and they threw a piece of rubber tire through the windshield of a car and into a ballistics gel dummy. The piece of tire went through the side window and completely decapitated the body.
Really?
They had a spine in it and everything inside the ballistics gel. It went through it and basically completely severed the head.
Okay. So I didn't know this, and I bet you if you look that up, you said it was on Mythbusters?
It was Mythbusters.
Bet you you'll see it on YouTube. They've probably got it. I mean, YouTube is an amazing thing.
Oh, it is.
They'll probably have it.
Make sure to like, comment, subscribe.
There you go. But that is my biggest thing is don't ride beside us. If you're passing us, pass us. Don't cut us off.
Yes.
We leave space between us and the next guy because that space we need to stop. And if you just poop right in front of us in your little Prius and we have to stop an emergency scenario, we'll be stopped. You'll be under us.
The average semi can weigh anywhere between 45 to 80,000 pounds, and that's on a 5-axle setup, which is what you mainly see.
Right.
Is the standard semis rolling down the road, which is steer tire, your steer axle, your 2 axles on the drives, and your 2 axles on the trailer. Those trucks can weigh upwards to 80,000 pounds. Now, you get into the trucks that say oversized load, wide loads. I've seen those guys weigh upwards into 200,000 pounds.
Well, not even.
Do you think your 3,000-pound Honda Civic is going to stand a chance?
Well, not even that, bud. You look at some of the dump trailers up around Michigan and stuff that are running, several, 5 and 6 axles on the trailer.
Oh, yeah, those guys can get upwards to 100 to 150,000 pounds easy.
Right. So we don't stop on a dime. It doesn't happen.
I guess but the short-term answer, give us space and be patient with us, please. That's all I have to say. Be patient and give us space.
All right. I think we got time for one more.
Yep.
Let's see here. What we got? Can truckers have pets and family with them? Quick answer, yes and no. Depends on the company. Depends on the company's insurance. Some companies don't allow pets. Some do. For me, that was a big deal.
You wanted to be able to bring your son with you.
Right. Because when I started driving, he was 8 years old. So I wanted to make sure that during the summer months when he's out of school, if he wants to ride with me, he could. That was my big thing. And not all companies will allow you. A lot of it deals with insurance.
And it also has to deal with the age of the person you're bringing with you. And sometimes it depends on the relation. Like, I can't bring some companies, they say it has to be a direct relative, like your father, or not your father, but your son, your daughter, your brother, anything like that. You cannot
bring me the puppy.
You cannot bring you can't bring like your third cousin with you.
Okay, come here, little one. I want to show y'all this. This is what's his name? Pickles. This is little Pickles. So the company we work for, as long as you take care of the truck, they don't care whether you have the animal in the truck with them. So you can get and bring this little fellow with you. Well, not this one because I don't think the boss would let you do that. But you can bring let's move this out of the way so you can see
Yeah,
it
pass
a
me
little
that. I'll take that.
better. So you can have animals in our trucks as long as you take care of them and take care of the truck. But it depends. Now, if you're going to have an animal in the truck with you, you've got to learn, especially as a puppy, you've got to train it. You got to make sure that it can ride for a long time. I mean, where it's not just a simple, we're going to sit and stop every hour, because you can't do that.
Yeah, it goes into you're burning your clock up that way. You've got to be able to manage your time.
Right. So I just wanted to bring him on here and just love on him for a minute. So anyway, go ahead, David.
Well, I believe that is.
Yeah, I think that's going to be it. We've still got a lot more questions. We'll continue this.
We will continue this into part 3 of this trip.
Right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, as we always say, thank you very much for tuning in. And as always,
stay safe and keep a greasy side down.